Happy Sunday, everybody. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
It is closeout week. We've been talking about this from lunch. Sean might, coming to Virginia for our closeout week. Put in the chat, the WhatsApp chat, you definitely want to jump in on this. So it's a couple of things we're gonna do this closeout week. I was thinking, okay, we're gonna give away a bag of cash at the end of the week for the top producer. But I think every day we're going to recognize the GOAT. Like, who is the GOAT of the day? And that's the person who does the most. The person that does the first app will get recognized as the GOAT. And then if somebody does the app and the premium is higher, they get the trophy. Then they'll move on to the top person of the day. But at the end of the week, we'll give away a bag of cash, and you will get the championship belt. You will get the championship belt as the producer of the week. You get to be the champion for closeout week to the next month. So we gonna recognize you as the champion. Bag of cash. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna ring the bell. And this belt is kind of heavy, y'all. So it says champion. It's upside down. It says champion. You see, champion. Like who's gonna be the champion of the week? So we're gonna do a lot of things. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do some training. We got the carriers coming. And I said, you know what? Tonight's call really want to kind of expand on what Leslie went over on Friday, talking about the four accounts. But I said, why not show the agents, my numbers from when I got started? And I said, well, I want y'all to see because I don't know if you were on Sean Mike's call on Friday, but he said that telesales is the future. And he says he can see the day when FFL is doing $1 billion a month. Now let's backtrack. He said 1 billion a month. Now, all I know is if he's projecting that the company is going to eventually be doing 1 billion a month, I want to be a part of that. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to say I used to do it. I want to be a part of that. Now, most of this week I haven't been feeling well. Had a dental procedure, realigned my jaw, tooth pulled, face still hurts. So if I talk too much, it hurts a little bit, a little puffy. But when I heard 1 billion a month, I said, nah, we got to go over some numbers. So I'm gonna share my screen with you, and I want you to see from when I started till now. And what I want you to look at, I want you to look at everything that we do. You should be able to do it faster. What that means is if somebody has broken the mold, like at one time nobody was running a 4 minute mile. Nobody. Then there was this scientist who said, I believe that man can run a 4 minute mile. No athlete had ever done it. So he went out there and ran a 4 minute mile. And they said, how'd you do it? He said, I believed I could do it. The following week, two more people ran a 4 minute mile. Then a week after that, three more people ran a 4 minute mile. But it took one person to decide that I can do it, which he was a scientist, not even an athlete, to run a 4 minute mile. All of a sudden, that's normal for a world class athlete to run less than 4 minutes in a mile. So what I'm going to show you is from ground zero. When I got started during COVID, I'm going to share my screen. FFL COVID 2020. This is when I got started. Now, when COVID, a lot of things happened that changed everything. The world was locked up. Nobody could believe what was going on. And I finally got my insurance license. And I got it end of May. I took my exam April 24th, got it end of May. That first year I issued paid 160. Now, there was a lot of uncertainties. People were trying to figure things out. And I want you to imagine if this was your trajectory, because whatever I'm doing, you should be able to do it faster. So that first month in May, let's talk about it. That first month in May, I spent $1,600 on leads. All right. We had a vendor, because I'm gonna go over my leads. We had a vendor called Happy Agent. I bought $900 worth of leads from them, and I bought 30 of them, and 15 of them were like disconnected. Then I bought another 600 from Happy Agent. And that 600 got me another 20 leads. I made three sales. Let me tell you about this 2,800 in sales. One of them was a lady that spent $26 a month. The other sale was the actual real sale, nice premium. The third sale was a policy I did on myself. Policy I did on myself, I got a mutual Omaha, 2,800 my first month. I spent 1,600 and spent another 600. I spent $2,200. Now this is the issue paid. I was not in profit. That means I spent $2,200, probably got deposit about 1,200. I'm in the red. June, I did 12,000. Let me tell you my lead spent for June. All right, so June, I spent another 1,000 on leads. Spent 1,000 a week on leads, so 4 grand. Now remind you, I was not in profit May. I spent 4 grand on leads. The issue paid 12,000. What was that 12,000? What was that in deposits? Well, some of that stuff was AIG. Core Bridge was AIG at the time. So I think I got deposited about $6,000. I spent four plus the other 2,200 I spent. So once again, I'm not in the red. I'm still in the red. No profit. 6,000 got deposited. July. What happened between June and July? Well, I tell you what happened. I didn't dial as much. I wasn't dollars as much. And I figured, you know what? I still got leads for May and June. I'm gonna keep running those same leads. And I issue pay 8,000. And what was 8,000? In deposits about 3 grand for. Once again, I'm still in the red. So that's 3 months, y'all. That's 3 months. I'm 10,000 in the red. I've only profited about 8,000. So I'm 9,000. I really have not made any money. Most people quit after this. Like, man, this thing don't work. I don't see how it works. But notice, consistency creates momentum, even in difficult seasons. I kept going. So August, what happened in August? I'm gonna spend 1,000 on leads, and I dialed. I issue pay 18,000. That month of August, deposited 14,000 in my bank account. I remember it like it was yesterday because I was like, man, I got 14,000 deposit. I am finally in the profit mode. I only got a $4,000 profit, but I'm in profit mode. So what did I do? I took that money and put it right back on leads for September. Boom, 22,000. What did that deposit? It deposited 18,000 in my bank account. Oh, guess what? Now I'm 10,000, 12,000 in profit mode. October, I'm gonna put the money right back in on leads. Now it issue paid 27. What did that deposit? It deposited 21,000 in my bank account. So you see how it took 4 months for me really 5 months for me really get in profit mode. Most people quit. I said I'm going to keep taking my commission, putting it right back in. Taking my commission, putting it right back in. So that's October. What happens in November? Boom, 35,000. Now let me tell you what happened between October and November. Well, America had their bonus. And America's bonus was you had to do 50,000 at the time was 50,000 to get 10%, which is a $5,000 bonus. October, I was at 22,000 and I needed 28,000 to get the bonus. So I told a friend of mine, I said, look, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get the American bonus this time. And you know what he said to me? He said, man, Captain, he called me Captain. He's like, Captain, you got the whole month to do it. Just write nothing but America. I said, yeah, man, but he said, man, if you got that attitude, you ain't gonna do it. I said, you're right. He said, man, what do you want to buy with that bonus money? I said, man, I could use a new laptop and I could upgrade my earrings. He said, there you go then. You gotta go. So what happened? I wrote out of that 35,000 issue, 32,000 of it was all America. I got the bonus. But that 35,000 deposited 32,000 in my bank account because it was all America. And I was like, man. So I bought the MacBook for Christmas. I bought my earrings for Christmas because I set a goal. Notice this is the first month I did 35,000. What I do December? I use that same momentum to write 37,500 in December. Now, if some of y'all know my story, in 2019, I barely had $1,300 in my bank account. Now, a whole year later, because of deposits and me writing business, I had $60,000 in my bank account. Staying consistent, staying consistent. Massive growth begins at the end of the year. Now, let's look at the trajectory 2,800, 12, 8, 18, 22, 27, 35. Our total issue paid that year, 160,000. My 1099 that year was 110,000. That's what I did in 6 months. Just being consistent. So a lot of times, team, when it comes to I'm showing you my numbers because I want you to look at your own numbers. Say, okay, am I on the path of, am I on a trajectory like that? If not, what am I missing? Well, am I staying consistent? Am I keep reinvesting, buying more leads? I gotta let y'all know I was working 5 to 7 days a week consistently, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I wasn't buying nothing. I was putting everything back in and staying consistent. Now, 2021, let's talk about the year. That's the year I went Hall of Fame. What did I do January? Got a little slow start. 21,000. February, 22,000. By this time, I'm kind of comfortable. I got a little bit of money in the bank. I'm comfortable. But March of that year, that's when we got the logo. I had my first $46,000 month. That month, it deposited about 40 grand in my bank account. I'm good. I got over $100,000 in the bank. I'm a little complacent. I'm good. But it started with the consistency, beginning from the beginning. April was a little drop off, May, and then boom, I got the America bonus again, 6,500. August, summertime, little drop off. And this is where I got challenged. I got challenged right here. Kendall, you still got time to go Hall of Fame. I said, man, I don't know if I really want it. And he said, well, you only got one first year store. First year, you got the logo. Actually, you got the logo in 7 months. Which is the logo? What is the logo? That's when your team as a whole, you do $100,000 2 months in a row. February, we did like 112, and in March, we did 150. Why we do 150? Because I wrote 46 of it. So we got the logo. Now, he said, well, when you hit Hall of Fame, they can give you a $4,000 bonus, and I'm going to match it and give you a Breitling watch, and you get a ring. So this time, I'm thinking about it, but I really ain't going into it. So all September, I did 34,000. When I did that 34,000, I was already at, if you can see this number, 226 coming out of August. That 34 put me right 260. So here I'm thinking, I got October, November, and December to write 140,000 to Hall of Fame. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it. So what did I do October? Another $40,000 a month. What did I do? I doubled up on my lead investment. I'm spending $1,500 a week on leads now. I'm asking for referrals. I'm working 7 days a week. I put an IUL on myself. I put two IULs on my kids. I was like, I'm gonna make this happen no matter how I make it happen. And they 42,000 that month. November, Thanksgiving had a little drop off. So after November, I'm going into December needing to do 71,000. And I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna do it when December, how I'm gonna write 71 when I've only wrote 40 twice. I never wrote 50,000. I never wrote 60. How am I gonna do 71? But something in my head say, you know what? Remember last year when you did 35,000 in December and it's supposed to be a bad month? That was your actual best month. So why can't you just go out swinging? I said, you know what? I'm gonna go out swinging. And if I come up short, I come up short. But I'm not gonna miss Hall of Fame by 6,000 or $3,000. Went out December, 71,000, hit Hall of Fame. What did I do? I spent $2,000 a week on leads. I doubled my investment. I didn't take any time off. I worked Sunday through Sunday. I worked till 10, 12 o'clock at night. Now we in the field, so I'm driving all over the place. I'm calling, I'm getting my referrals. I'm signing up the beneficiary. I'm signing up the contingent. I'm calling friends. I'm saying, hey, I'm talking to some of my agents. Don't you need to get another policy? Some of my agents, I say, yo, you need another policy, don't you? Yeah, you do. All right, let's go ahead and get you something. Yeah, I was thinking about getting one. All right, let me write it. And I was signing up like I did whatever it took to get that 71,000 because I was not going to miss it. We hit it. Now, that's a big jump, a scale. So once again, look at your own personal numbers. Whether you've been here 6 months, 6 years, are you on that trajectory? And if not, you got to ask yourself, what am I not doing that he's did in this presentation? What is my level of consistency? Am I buying leads every single week? Am I working every single day? Am I being consistent on the phone? All right. So consistency through adversity. Yeah, I had some setbacks. I had some things happen. I had some agents quit. I had some chargebacks, but you know what? I increased my activity. I stayed around the fire. I talked to my mentor. I daily communicated with my mentor. At the time, Bo Kelly was my mentor and this other gentleman. I was talking to Bo Kelly every single day, every single day. I said, Bo, I live on this side. You live 45 minutes away. Are there any appointments you want me to run for you? And we split them. He was like, yeah, I got appointments in Virginia Beach. I live in Hampton. It's an hour away. I can't get on that side. You live on that side. You can. I got the appointments. You run the appointments. I said, hey, anything you want me to run in Newport News, I'll run it for you. We split the deal. I was doing whatever was necessary to make sure that I was successful. So let's look at the trajectory. Now this is 22. So in 2022, 35,000. That's when I started receiving bonuses from the carriers. Every month I received a bonus because they would give me carrier bonuses. Now, right here, we're gonna talk about June of COVID. I got COVID that year, and I have an autoimmune, and because of COVID, it set me back 3 weeks. With that setback, I really couldn't die. My blood pressure spiked out of this world. That's when I really realized I had high blood pressure. I was losing hair. I had psoriasis bad on my scalp, in my ears, my legs because of COVID. So I really couldn't, I was worried about it getting on my eyes. So I really could not work. But during that process, because I built the team, even though it issue paid 17,000, which is not a lot, I was doing 30,000 consistently. That 17,000, I still deposited 22,000 in my bank account. How might you ask? Well, I built the team. And this is why building the team was important. Because I couldn't work, I still had income coming in. I couldn't sell anything. I wasn't feeling well. I had a fever every day. I had a cough. I couldn't go to nobody's house because it was COVID. We're not doing telesales yet. We still going to people's houses. I can't go to nobody's house coughing. Plus, I didn't feel it. I ain't had the energy, but I still made $22,000 that month during COVID. Once COVID subsided, I had a breakout month. I said, yo, I got it to work. 48,000, got another bonus, 30,000, 32,000. And in November, because I tried to go for Hall of Fame, I say I pumped the brakes. I said, you know what? I don't feel like running like I did before. I still had a great month, a great year in production. Now, right around here, I want you to pay attention to December. Notice this was a transition year because that's when we went telesales. December was the first month I did telesales, all virtual. We bought leads, we dialed the leads, and I sold over the phone. First month doing telesales, 31,655. It was a new avenue, it was a new opportunity. It was different because I wasn't going to people's houses. So when people say they have a hard time with telesales, I'm like, well, did you have enough leads? Now, the company we were working with at this time, we were spending $60 a lead. So I want you to understand when Goat leads, we talking about $22. We talking about $33. We were spending $60 a lead with this company. You get a pack of 10, pack of 20. I'm doing a pack of 20. $1,200 a week on these leads at $60 a piece. That first month did 31,000. Were those leads good? They were good, but with anything, we found better. So once again, if you're looking at your own numbers, what is your trajectory? Any decisions you make require adjustments. There's systems in place, innovation. Telesales took our agency from doing two, 2.7 million to 5 million. So just to kind of give you all the numbers of Invincible since we started, 2020 was 160. 2021, we did 1.3. 2022, we did 1.2, 1.297. So it was off like 3,000. Basically stayed the same. 2023, we did telesales. We were at 2.7. 24, we did 3.6. And then 25, we did 5.6. Telesales took our business from that 1.23 range to 5.6. What have we done in annuity volume? Well, since we've been an agency, we've done $40 million worth of annuities in 6 years. 40 million. And a lot of that's from the telesales vein. What have I deposited in 6 years? 1.890 million. So the only reason I'm showing this not to impress you or to impress upon you. If you're not on this trajectory, where you gonna be in 6 years right now? I want you to look at yourself, look at your business. Are you that committed that when FFL goes $1 billion a month, that you're gonna be a part of that? Because the way I'm looking at it is like there's no reason for everybody not to win, but you got to go back to this. Are you doing the things to grow? Are you consistently winning? This right here are little small wins that the company gives you every month. If you're not winning these, how you gonna ever win this? How you ever gonna really win big if you're not winning the small stuff? Because really, everybody should be tracking faster than where I'm tracking right now. Because my mentor, he told me, he said it took him, he never hit Hall of Fame. But he said it took me 10 years, 12 years to get an agency doing 500,000 a month. We did that in year 3. So there's nobody on this team that's on the same trajectory that I did started. And I'm just being real. I'm not saying this to hurt nobody's feelings, but you got to look at your own business like, okay, what am I not doing to put myself in position to be there? I'm going into year 4 and year 5, and I'm nowhere near that. But you got to ask yourself, am I doing the little stuff? Did I call today and work today? Or am I gearing up for closeout week tomorrow? Which is great. But why not work today? Because it's a holiday or Sunday. Well, you do everything else you want to do. See, when I was hungry and starving and trying to figure this out, I did not care. I was like, I have to work. I gotta eat because I'm tired of being broke. When he said buy more leads, I never understood it until I was like, when I ain't had nobody to talk to, and I was like, I'm dialing the same people over and over again. I said, no, that's why I had the drop off money. You notice I ain't had no more drop off months. How you go from 2,800 to 12,000 to 8? I ain't bought no leads. I learned real quick, buy leads. And with 8, jump to 18 to 22 to 27 to 32 to 35 because I kept buying leads. I took my commission, like Leslie said on the call the other day, I took my commission and I reinvested and bought more leads. I ain't buy myself no car, no, I ain't buy nothing. I drove the same pickup truck that was my dad's truck until I hit Hall of Fame. I blew the transmission in that truck. So now I ain't have no vehicle. And once I hit Hall of Fame, I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and buy me a vehicle. I had 18 years with no car payment. So I was like, I really wasn't sure I wanted to get one. I said, but I done blown the transmission twice on this truck. I said, I gotta get something. I earned it. Let me take the bonus money. That's what it's for. Go and get me a car. But are you that disciplined to hold off what you want versus what you need? Some of us want stuff, but we don't need it yet. What are we doing, team? And I want to do this call to expand on what Leslie talked about the 4 accounts. So you can see that's old. Four accounts. Four accounts. I ain't got all my money going to one account. I did have name one account, FFL, Family First Life. But since then, I got five accounts at one bank and two accounts at two other banks that I can't. I don't have a debit card to it, so I can Zelle money over there. But the only way I can take it out the bank is I got to go into the bank to get the money. So I will actually physically walk in and say, "Hey, I like to withdraw XYZ out this account. If I want to do something stupid, let me just take." No, I got to physically walk in there and say, "Hey, can I have XYZ out of my account?" So what I'm saying to you is look at your own numbers tonight, go through your numbers, play around with them, and ask yourself, am I really working this business or I play work in this business? And if you're really honest with yourself, you play work in this business. You ain't working this business. Because if you were working this business, when Sean Mike said 1 billion a month, all y'all should be saying, you know what, I ain't doing enough. And I said to myself, I said, we ain't doing enough. Because I don't want to miss out on that billion. Because I'm looking at other teams jump from last year. I'm looking at other teams, and yeah, we can compare. Comparison ain't the thief of joy. Comparison should fire you up. And I'm looking at other teams. I'm like, well, wait, Grady's team last year. Last year, Grady's team was doing 10 million a month. This year, they did 25 million. So I'm saying, what's different between his team and our team? Well, he got more people. I get that. He got more people on the system. I get that. So what's stopping us from doing the same thing? Maybe in small doses. Goal is we got to get more people paid. The second thing we got to do is we got to get more people bought into the vision. I don't think all of y'all have bought into the vision of where you really could be. Because if you bought into the vision of where you really could be, ain't nothing stopping you. So I get excited when I see other people's numbers. Comparison does not have to be the thief of joy, but it's so cliche-ish. We say it all the time. It doesn't have to be. Comparison can be the thief of, oh man, I can do it too. Just like the Roger Bannister effect. When he ran the 4 minute mile, there was an athlete who said, I could do that too. There was another athlete who said, I could do that too. Why aren't y'all looking at my numbers saying I could do that too? When we hitting something that's going is killing the industry. FFL numbers are skyrocketing because of telesales. What do you think gonna happen when they go all inbounds? The numbers I showed you was off of in the field. What do you think's gonna happen when inbounds takes over? Telesales already exploded our agency by $2.5 million. What do you think's gonna happen when inbounds takes place? And you find the agent, I believe the top agent in the FFL hasn't even been found yet. Yeah, it's Steve Giordano right now, but I believe the top person is not even on in the it's not has not even passed the exam yet. You know why I can say that? Whether you think LeBron is the GOAT or not, if you look at his numbers, there is nobody, there's nobody living right now that's playing basketball that's gonna pass LeBron's numbers. Let's be real. The man played 23 years. He gonna have every record in the record books. There ain't nobody playing right now that's gonna ever pass that. But there's some kid who ain't even been born yet that's probably gonna pass them numbers. Probably not in my lifetime. It took him 40 years to pass Kareem numbers because he wasn't born yet. So think about it. I'm 53. For them to pass that, they got to be consistent for 25 to 27 years at 25.6 points per game for the next 27, 30 years. I don't think nobody's going to do that right now. Just like Steve Giordano might be here, but the way inbounds and telesales is exploding, there's somebody who ain't a license yet who's going to get in here and going to kill it and explode it. Why can't there be somebody on y'all team that y'all haven't recruited yet? Why can't that be you? Oh, we don't believe you can. So this is closeout week, team. And I wanted to do this call because we got to go into this closeout week and say, you know what? I want to get the belt. I want the belt. I want to be the GOAT for the week. I want to get the bag of cash. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to do these things. Because if you're not winning on a small scale, you're never gonna win on a major scale. And I ain't never seen nobody get up to a race and say, I just hope I come in sixth place. I just hope I cross the finish line. No, you don't go to school talking about, man, I just look forward to getting me a D. No, man, if I can only get a C and a D, I'll be happy. No, if you don't get that weak-minded crap up out of here, I digress. What are we gonna do, Tay? So, like I said, look at your numbers, figure out, let's talk. Let's talk about it. Because the one thing I'm gonna tell you when we had this conversation is, okay, how many leads you got? What's your schedule? How many days you working? Oh, you gotta go on vacation this summer, huh? Ah, you gotta go on vacation for 3 days, huh? So how much you got in your bank account right now? Do you got 6 months of your bills stacked and saved up like Leslie talked about? You don't? Oh, you don't. Okay. What's your lead account look like? Your business account look? Oh, do you have money stacked up in that account? Oh, you don't. But you really got to go to this concert. How much for the concert tickets? Oh, you'll pay $1,500 on some concert tickets, but you can't spend $1,500 on some leads. You ain't serious. You don't want to make no money. You're looking for now gratification versus looking for later gratification. See, team, my life is amazing now, but I held back and sacrificed a lot to get in this position I'm in now. Crystal, remember our house was broken in years ago? Dude stole all my watches. Now, granted, I ain't had no Breitlings and no Rolexes then, but I do now. But I delayed that to get myself in position to take care of other stuff needed to be taken care of before I did other things. I went 18 years with no car note. I drove my dad's truck. Could I use a better truck? Blew the transmission on it once, paid the money, got another transmission, blew it on the second time. Was borrowing my mom's car to get from here to there to go run appointments. Borrowing her car. Let me borrow your car. Running appointments, running appointments, running appointments. Hit Hall of Fame. I said, you know what? I think it's time for me to get my own car. So my truck ain't gonna make it. I'm open up for any questions or comments.
There's a question in the chat. You saw that?
I
How
was
much money
looking
would
at
you
it.
say to put into leads your first week?
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna say this. If you can do 1,000, I'm gonna say do 1,000. If you can do 1,500, I'm gonna say do 1,500. I'm gonna say go big or go home. Now, the reason I'm gonna say that now, if you spend it, you gotta work it, and we will help you work it. But I'm gonna say it like this. I don't know if you are a gambler, if you're going to the casino or whatever, but I'm gonna put it to you like this. If you go to the casino and you get on that crap table, that blackjack table, that slot machine, whatever it is, and you put in, I'm gonna give you the secrets of casinos. If anybody wants to gamble, here's the secret. If you go to the casino and you get on the slot machine, because a lot of people like slots, and you put $10 in that machine, they're going to take your $10 and you playing penny slots. They're gonna take it, bloop, and you're gonna put another 20 in there. And then you're like, I'm done. I spent enough. If you take $200-300 and put it in that penny machine, you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna let you win. You know why they're gonna let you win? Because they're like, oh, this person got money. They ain't scared to spend more. So you wind up pulling the thing on the third level and you won $2,300. They're like, oh shoot, I won. You ain't win because you did nothing special. They looked at you being not the cheap person, but the person who actually put the money in is like, they gonna put more in. They just won 2,300 on their fourth pull. Guess what? You feed the machine again. You pull it again. They let you win a little bit more. They know they can milk you and get as much money out of you versus that person putting 20 or $30 in. So if you want to win big and really have people to talk to, you can spend $400-500. But out of that, let's say 50 leads you get or 40 leads you get, what if you don't talk to half of them? What if half of them don't pick up? But if you put the money in, you're going to get a 4 to 5 time multiplier on whatever you spend. So if you spend $400, you're getting a 4 to 5 time multiplier, which is 1,600 or 2,000. If you spend $1,000, you can get a 4 to 5 time multiplier, which is 4 grand of 5,000. That's how much you gonna make on them leads. The numbers are the numbers. Whatever you spend on leads, you typically gonna get a 4 to 5 time multiplier. You know how I know? Ask Megan. Megan spent 2 grand, 1,500 a week on leads. What did Megan issue couple of last month? 52,000. Megan got a high comp. So I'm pretty sure Megan got about 48, 49,000 deposit in her bank account. So whatever you spend, you'll get that. So if you're able to spend 1,000, I say your first purchase should be 1,000. And then after you get your commission, you take part of that commission, you reinvest it back in. Spend another 1,000 and keep doing that till you flip it. And before you know it, you can stack your bank account up because you use the 4 bank accounts, like we said, and you got money saved.
Second question, what was your call schedule and call block when you were dialing? That's a some
Every
interesting
day.
questions.
Every day.
Yeah,
I ain't take
it
no
was
days off.
it was a different time then. So yeah.
It was a different time. We dialed on Monday, we ran on Tuesday, we ran on Wednesday, we called between appointments. I worked on Fridays, Saturdays. I ain't going no dates. I ain't do nothing. I ran appointments. Friday night to 9, 10 o'clock at night. I ran appointments. Appointment Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Ran appointments. Sunday evening, sometime after church. Ran appointments. I worked. You know why? Because I didn't want to be broke ever again. And when I wasn't in profit mode for 4 months, I wasn't gonna let this thing beat me because I watched too many people in my office that were killing it, and I was like, they're not better than me. Once I figured this thing out, and once I got in profit mode, I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna tell y'all the game I played with myself, y'all. I want y'all to listen to me. I want y'all to play the same game. I wanted to see how much money could I put in my bank account. At one time, the most money I ever had in my bank account was like 8, 9 grand, 10 grand. I wanted to see how fast can I put 25,000 in my bank account. And once I got 25, I said, I want to see how fast I can put 50 grand in my bank account. And once I hit 50 grand, Bank of America said, hey, congratulations. You're a platinum. Then they said the next mark is platinum honors. How you get that? 100,000 3 months in a row. I said, I want to see how fast I can put 100 grand in my bank account. Because I ain't never had three numbers to the left of the comma. I want to be the guy to go to the ATM machine and leave his ATM slip there for somebody to come up behind him. You ever been to ATM? You take out $20 or $30 and somebody leave their receipt there by accident, and you seen the bank account like, good God, they got all that? I wanted to be that guy. I'm sorry. I did. I wanted to be that guy. I just leave the receipt there. So I said, how fast can I get 100 grand? Oh man, I got that. How fast can I get 150 grand in the bank? Oh shoot. How fast can I put 200,000 in the bank? Oh shoot. How fast can I do 250? So I'm at the FDIC. Now I got to split it up and put it in other banks. That's the game I played with myself. Because when I started this, I had 1,300 in the bank. So I wanted to see how much money can I put in my bank account. So I worked. And I ain't buying nothing because I ain't want to spend no money. I was like, man, I worked. I wanted to see. Because now I felt like, not saying I was successful because I put that amount in my bank account. I could breathe and I ain't had to worry about nothing. But I worked. I ain't take no vacations. And if I did take a vacation, I killed it before I left. When I say killed it, I wrote 20,000 before I left. All America. And while I was on vacation, my dollar was dialing, booking appointments. So when I got back, but we'll go on vacation and don't work while we gone and take 3 days off when we get back and wonder why a month ain't hitting on nothing because you ain't got that lock in work ethic. It's like a person that's locked into the gym, like Natalie talked about a couple of weeks ago. When they go on vacation, they at the gym 5:30, 6 a.m., no matter if they out of town or not, every day. And when they get back in town, where they at? At the gym. When I was so obsessed with the gym back in the day, I would travel to speak to kids. If I had a 5 a.m. flight and I couldn't work out, when I got to my hotel, I found a gym in the city, state I was in, Gold's Gym, whatever. and went to the gym, changed clothes, chilled the weights, go get something to eat, go to my hotel. I always, because I was consistent. The main thing is consistency. Because if you ain't consistent, none of this gonna work for you. It ain't gonna work. You're gonna just keep getting the same thing, same results. And you'll be telling somebody, I've been selling insurance for 20 years. And instead of saying you made $10 million in 20 years, you can say, I made 100,000 in 20 years. And they're like, what are you doing? I used to be a part of the FFL thing. What are you doing now? I still sell it here and there now. Same. Some of us in our 40s and 50s. If we don't kill it now, what kind of retirement you got? What kind of retirement do you have if you don't bust your tail right now with this insurance thing?
No, this was good. Then drop some fire signs in the chat team if you felt like this was a really good eye opener for you all.
Kendall, that was powerful. I needed that. Without disclosing what I've been going through, to not sound like complaining, you know, every second counts. I got reminded this week every second counts.
Say every second counts, and you don't want to be a part of something where you say, I missed it. And I feel like some of y'all are missing it. I ain't missing it. I've already got a plan in place. I got a new recruiter I hired, social media person. Me and him talk. I said, look, I need 30 new agents direct to me. We gonna make it happen. I need 30. Like, why you need that? Because I need my income to jump up another 60,000 a month. I need 30. So by the end of the year, I'm making 200,000 a month. You know why? Because my 7 year plan will be here for you know it. I ain't missing out on my 7 year plan. I have a 7 year plan. I don't know about you. My 7 year plan is even too small. Because my 7 year plan was $150 million, which is $15 million, well, $12 million, 12.5 million a month as an agency. And when he said a million a month, I said, I'm thinking too small. My 7 year plan should be, we should be throwing $30 million a month in 7 years. 30 million a month. $30 million a month will bring me in about $4 million a month in income, 48, $50 million a year. If I want to sell this thing, let it go. I don't know. But I was like, when he said a million a month, my mind was like, I'm thinking way too small. Like 150, I thought was 150 million to walk away. No, 300 million. 300 million. You know why? Because my grandkids, great grandkids, grandkids, kids after that, they gonna be set. Everybody gonna be set. Y'all gonna be set because you're on this train. And I say it again. If God is blessing me, you're gonna get the overflow. Now, I don't know if you believe or not, but I'm gonna tell y'all a story real quick and I'm gonna wrap this up. My mouth was hurting so bad because they hit the nerve in my tooth. So my blood pressure spiked up to 220 over 117. So they could not take my tooth on Monday. I was like, I don't care. I was signing waiver. They said, Mr. Clark, if we give you the pain meds, you can stroke out on this table. I said, listen, man, I ain't dying in here. I said, God got too much for me to do. This ain't how I'm going out. He said, well, Mr. Clark, we can't do it. Take these pain meds and this I mean these pain meds and this antibiotic. So I go home and I'm taking it. I don't know if y'all ever had a toothache before, but he hit the nerve. My face swole, like I'm in pain. I got the ice pack. I'm laying on the bed. I want to cry. I want to call my mama. Like I'm hurting. Like if we were in a fight and you hit me, oh, I'm down. I'm crying on the ground. Like it'd be over. So I'm every day I'm taking like the next day was Tuesday. He said we're gonna try to take the two, but your blood pressure gotta come down. I'm checking my blood pressure, taking my blood pressure man. It's still 180, 190. Ain't going nowhere. So now I'm getting concerned, like I can't go another day without my blood pressure with this tooth. I gotta get this tooth out because they didn't damage something. It's hurting, my whole jaw hurt. So I'm checking it. I'm laying down, relaxing in my recliner. 1 o'clock, getting close to one. It's 12. I take my blood pressure ready at 11. Hopefully, I bring it down. I'm taking the ice pack. I check it again. It's 180. Still ain't going down. I sit there. I start doing breathing techniques. In and out, in and out. Blood pressure still 175. I was like, so then I wait. I drink some beet powder, beet juice. I'm like, I check it in, it's 190. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go. On the way to the dentist, I am praying. I'm singing Fred Hammond, All Things Can Working for Me. I'm singing Dear God by Boys to Men. I said, Lord, I need you. I need you now more than I ever needed you before. I get there and I sit in the chair. They check my blood pressure. That blood pressure is 197 over 110. They said, Mr. Clark, you sure you don't need? I said, look, I'll sign a waiver. You got to do something. They said, well, just sit here. Sit here, relax for 5 minutes. We're going to cut the light out. I started praying hard, yo. I said, what do you need it to be? They said, well, you need, if it's 170, 160s, we can do something. I said, all right. I said, God, I need you more than I've ever needed you before. I need you to show up right now. They came back in and checked my blood pressure, 154 over 89. And tell me God don't be answering prayers. They say, we can do it. I said, come on in, knock this tooth, take this tooth out. They gave me 10 needles, but all I'm saying is for 2 days, it was 190, 180. When I called and asked, I said, what do you need it to be? They said 170, 160. He bought it to 154 over 89. So what I'm telling you is this. If he is blessing me, if you lock arms with me, you're going to get the overflow. That's all I got to say.